Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a truly special online event today. It's called The Six Pillars of Multidimensional Energy Healing. Empower your energy medicine skills and activate your solar plexus for accelerated results. My name is Stephen Dunn. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network. And one of the things I love about energy work is that it's upstream from so many of the challenges that we might face in our day-to-day life, emotionally, physically. So we work on energy, we work on the source behind things. And we're going to get to explore how to do that in a very deep, advanced, and multidimensional way with one of the world's real pioneers in this arena. His name is Tyler Odysseus. He's the founder of Yin Energy Healing. He's the author and master energy medicine instructor. He's taught a number of programs for Shift, and we're very excited that he's going to be teaching a brand new upcoming training that really dives deep into many dimensions of multidimensional energy healing work, which you can apply both for yourself and for clients if you happen to work in a domain that you can apply it. It's going to be a 5-month advanced program, and we'll share more about that in the latter part of the hour. So with that said, Tyler, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me, Stephen. Always a pleasure. Yeah.
Great. Well, I know we've got a lot to cover. We made a lot of promises on the page here. So let's dive in with a little bit of your backstory and what brought you, particularly, I think your story of becoming an energy healer and devoting your life to this is quite interesting. So we want to share a little bit there first.
I came to energy work about a little over 16 years ago. And like a lot of people, I had some issues I was trying to sort out. Initially, I just was getting sessions from someone else. And then I literally just thought to myself, instead of paying this guy to do sessions for me every week, I think I just need to learn how to zap my own foot in that case. And so I took the guy's course. And then literally after a 2-day course, I just did a session on a friend of mine, and she had a miraculous recovery from depression and from some psychological stuff. And her whole life trajectory changed. And I'd only been training for 2 days. And that's when I realized, this is something so powerful and anyone can do it. I was able to do it with 2 days training. And since that time, I've trained thousands of people, and many people have reported similar things, that they've been able to have dramatic results with their family, their friends, and if they're professionals, with their clients, even with just a few days of training. So that I was just hooked right then after that. And I started learning every modality under the sun. And since then, I've developed 3 modalities of my own and written a book on energy work, and just been doing it as my passion ever since. And it gradually became my entire career over about a year. I just jumped in with both feet, and that was my new career. So it's just been a huge benefit. I think I was lucky in that when I was a child, I could see energy. And so as an adult, that had kind of been shut down by my corporate job and stuff. And then once I started doing energy work, the energy perception came back in just a couple of weeks. So that's something too that you can reawaken or awaken in yourself for the first time pretty easily if you do the level of training that we're talking about today, and even potentially today itself during some of the practices we're going to do. So it's just been a joyful life and a joyful way to teach people and change lives. So I just love it.
Well, thank you for jumping in with both feet, and I know you've got so much to harvest from that journey. So I'd love to start with a little bit of a big picture mapping of some of the different ways that you can do energy work. I know you sort of work from a lot of different dimensions, and it's part of why we're calling it multidimensional energy work, but maybe share a little bit about some of that broad big picture and how you can orient of where you might want to bring energy work in for healing.
Well, there's a lot of different energy healing modalities out there, Stephen. And during the early years, I trained to the master level in about 6 different energy modalities before I began inventing my own. So in my private practice, I don't just restrict myself to the modalities I've invented myself, though I do use them. I also bring in other modalities I've learned over the years. And I call that multidimensional healing, in the sense that you're working on something from multiple different angles. Now, you can also do multidimensional healing as a modality itself, and that will be part of the program. So I love the title of this course because it is an intentional double entendre, in that we're going to learn to work from multiple angles. And that's how I work in my private practice and in life, is that if you have something you'd like to work out, you may start with one energy modality, and then you switch to another one partway through and another one partway through, all intuitively guided. You just use your intuition, or if you don't want to use your intuition, you just set a time. I'm going to spend this amount of time doing this amount of time doing that. But you'll find as an energy worker that you do get these intuitive hits. You get these ideas, these inklings. I'm going to switch to this for this problem, or that for that problem. And then when you start to blend them all, you can really work things loose, even things that have been there for decades in people. And that's my approach, is that when you work something in multiple angles, multiple dimensions of the same problem, you can get some really fantastic results.
Great. Well, you want to give us a little bit of an overview of those 6 different ways of energy work that you sort of build this larger system?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So the first big pillar of energy work is just life force energy. It's my go-to, especially if I'm in a state where I just want to have it be automatic, not have to think too much. And that's where you're accumulating life force energy, known as chi, prana, mana, in your body. And you do that through body awareness, through breathing techniques. It's super, super powerful. And it's the most easily accessible modality for people to learn really quickly. That's the one I learned in 2 days in my story about, how I got to this career. And so the next one after that would be what we call sky or interstellar energy, not interdimensional, interstellar. That's where you're connecting your crown and your upper energy centers directly upwards towards the sky, or up and back, but very, very high. And then you're bringing in these frequencies, and they just flow on their own. You don't even have to work at those. Those just kind of flow down gently through you. You point your hands at someone, and they tend to penetrate very deeply into the body, really affect things. And it's another way of working that requires less effort, but doesn't have the raw power of the chi you bring in, right? Then you go on to a modality I call Yin Energy work, and there's multiple approaches to this as well. And this is where you're bringing in shifted state within your body, blissful shifted states. You're stimulating your pineal gland, your pituitary gland. And when you get into that stuff, now you're entering a whole nother realm of power where people start to dimensionally shift on their own to better realities, where better things are true. And so that's the third kind of pillar right there, the third approach to energy work. And then you start to blend these things together. The next one really is how to use presence and sensing. And you could add in precision feeling as a pillar as well. And this presence alone can be healing. If you were to meet someone super, super present who was not a professional energy worker, they just happened to be incredibly present, and you were just to have tea with them, you would find that simply sitting in their presence would be healing. Now, what if you could invoke that level of presence yourself, and then intentionally become slightly more aware of someone sitting across from you, or someone who's interacting with you over Zoom or over a video call, or even over the phone? You would notice that your presence alone, the act of being in that state of presence, would be healing for them. So that's yet another way to do really, really powerful energy work. And then this next one, you might think it's not a modality, it's a technique. I call it timeline or time or multidimensional energy work, but I truly feel it's so important. It's elevated to the realm of another modality because it operates so differently. Rather than trying to shift something in the current reality you're in, you're providing a certain shift, a certain dimensional teleportation, transportation, which the client probably won't even be aware of, where they move laterally into a parallel reality where better things are true. Now, usually that reality only has subtle external differences that they won't notice, but they might find that, their condition just wasn't so bad to begin with. And that's such an elevated to a new level. And I've learned and discovered some new ways of doing that I've never heard anyone else talk about. It's just so powerful. It has to be considered its own approach to energy work.
It's particularly intriguing to have all 6 mapped out like this, and there's one is going to have its own skill set. How do you diagnose in the moment what might be most effective to bring forward?
So there's certain ones that really lend themselves to certain things, bone alignment. I really like the chi-based stuff. Now, it doesn't mean it won't work doing yin or the blissful shifted state, but it's going to work a little faster, flowing that energy, that life force energy that you accumulate. And we're going to do that together in a couple of minutes so people can get an idea of it. But I also just use my intuition. I just, especially if someone I can feel the density in someone's body. And if I feel like it's responding to this modality, I might stick with it for a while. And if it stops responding or it starts to slow down, I'll switch. So you don't necessarily have to know in advance which one you're going to use because you can kind of feel into it. So then after a bit, I might switch to a presence approach. I might switch to a blissful shifted state approach and then see how my client's responding based on an ability to perceive a certain amount of density or flow in their body and then a softening. And that ability to perceive emerges naturally once you start doing this work, especially once you start doing the yin work. It just emerges. I mean, for pretty much everyone. So it's not like a magic skill that I have that no one else is going to have. Everybody's going to get that ability. And then you're going to sense that. So that's how you're going to do it. And if you don't know, or for some reason you're feeling a little bit more like you just want to follow a script, you can do that too. You can just be like, I'm going to do this one for this amount, this one for this amount, this one for this amount. And that'll be, largely as effective as well. Probably 90-95% is effective. So you can just do a script or you can just feel into it as you work.
I want to ask about the work with the heart field, since there's a lot of overlap with we do courses with heart math, a lot of other things, and it seems like a very central function for many
yes. In fact, the heart field is one of the 6. I apologize, I skipped that one earlier because I was so excited. But the heart field is where you drop the energy into your heart center and you expand it spherically into a powerful field. And then you interact with people. This is one of the modalities I invented this in 2012. And this, what I love about it is that it works on multiple things simultaneously. And even if you would try to just work on one thing only, you're going to end up working on the whole person really effectively. And you can also use this for crowds of people. Like you could stand up on stage and work up on like 50 people at once using this heart field after your heart field becomes strong enough. So probably not on day one, but you practice this over and over. You come back, you keep learning, you keep trying it out. You're going to get your heart field so strong that you can do that. And it's a really loving approach. It's kind of like the gentle giant. It's so strong once you get it going. And that also is really good for bone alignment, for brain structures, for joint pain. It's in many ways, it's the fastest way to take down pain, though you still have to work at least maybe 2/3 as long as another modality to have it hold. But like if you want to like take someone's pain from an 8 to a 2 or something like that, like super fast, this is the kind of modality that works that way. It's this super powerful heart field. Of course, it depends on the client and whatnot and what's going on, but it's the one that I've seen work super, 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 super fast from this loving, just pure energy state. There's less breathing involved, and you're just kind of flowing your heart field through somebody, and it's really powerful.
So many systems, as I was saying, spiritual systems really focus on the heart as the center point of spiritual realization. And also, just love for you to share a little bit more about why it's so central to our whole energetic system as well.
Yeah, and the heart energy itself is part of every single modality, and I think that's what you're referring to, in the sense that when you're doing chi work, when you're just like feeling your body and flowing raw life force energy, raw prana to someone, if you can feel love as you do that, it makes it so much more powerful. Ideally, you want to feel love for whoever you're working on, but interestingly, you can actually feel love for your dear pets or your dear family while working on someone else. Just the frequency of love, when you bring it in, it just makes it incredibly powerful. And it flows through every single modality, and then so the heart field work, it's not just about feeling tremendous love as you work. It's a different modality in that you're creating a powerful field. Like you can almost move your hand through it and feel the thickness of the chi, and kind of a feeling on the back of your hand as you move it through this field that you invoke around you, a powerful heart field. And then you would work from that space. So it blends that aspect, but you're absolutely correct. The heart itself and just the love and the coherence of the heart are a center point for so many modalities, and really to all of these.
And so I'd love for you to share a little bit more about this principle with both the heart field and the presence of like how important the energy field of the practitioners, not just the technique, but there's sort of like a sympathetic resonance going on. So in a way, it's like that's the first place to start in working with clients.
It's amazing. I mentioned earlier, if you are tremendously present, it's healing in and of itself. Now, what if you add a state of presence to any of the aforementioned modalities? It's immediately going to be a lot more effective. You, as a person who's very present, your vibrational frequency increases exponentially the more present you get. So if you get 5% more present, you could potentially double your power. And each small incremental change into greater presence can really exponentially increase your power. And so you start to get present and then do whatever modality you want, even ones you already know. And you'll find, oh my goodness, my modality I've been doing for 5 years is so powerful now that I've increased my level of presence. So how do you do that? Well, you do that through some of the precision feeling techniques, but also through some very powerful breath work that we do, which is specifically designed to drop you into that state of presence almost through the side door. It's just like you arrive and all of a sudden you're there in the room, just dropped in, fully present. And from that state, you do whatever modality you want, and it's going to be more powerful.
That's great. Well, I know you want to take us into something that focuses around the solar plexus. Maybe share a little bit about why the solar plexus itself is so important for energy work, and then let's go into the practices you want to lead.
Well, I was thinking of something I could do that would be really fun for people, that they would just really, really enjoy, and that we could do within the hour. And the solar plexus, which is right where your rib cage comes together, is the place where you can take action. It's your personal power. It's your self-esteem. It's all these things that make you feel really good and also help you be really productive. And I'm one of those people that believes in you can feel fantastic doing energy work, but you also want to continue taking action in life and taking the steps needed to move forward in your career, in your goals, whatever those goals might be. So I love this one because everybody has goals. And if you charge up your solar plexus, it's a door opener. Anywhere you shift your gaze, anywhere you want to go in life, career-wise, other goals, things you want to learn, it just opens the door for that for you. So and I also want to teach people a little tidbit of my quantum bow, energy bow technique, which is so fun. And then we'll use that to charge up the solar plexus.
Great, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. After that, by the way, we're going to open the third eye wide open because everybody loves that. We're going to blend it with some sky energy. And that's going to give you a taste of what this course is about, because the course itself is about blending different modalities from a multidimensional approach. So let's give it a shot. Here's what you're going to do first. First, just start out by becoming aware of your seat, right where you're sitting, okay? And then slowly move your awareness up your torso, straight up your torso. And I'm talking about inside your torso, if you can feel that, but at least the surface of your skin, right? You could take your hands and kind of rub it on your belly for a couple seconds just to wake it up and then feel that sensation there. Right now, we're starting with sensation as a way to accumulate life force energy through the concept of energy follows thought, because your nervous system is the accumulator that is the fastest. You can think about your belly and accumulate a little energy down there, down in your lower energy centers, or you can feel the sensation and that will attract energy faster. So move that awareness up now through your whole torso, all the way up to your chest and your upper back. And now here's where the bow comes in. Start moving your awareness up and behind you at about a 35-degree angle, just about 6 inches back, and now 12 inches back, and now 18 inches back. Fantastic. And now just relax. And it's almost like you pulled back a rubber band. You're going to relax the gentle bowstring, and then it just kind of floats back to your upper back. When we do this technique, what we do is we inhale, feeling that sensation up the torso like we just did. And when we get back to the bow, we exhale and we allow that draw behind our body to collapse into the chest and flow down the arms. So let's try it with the breath. We're going to link it to the breathing now. Take your arms like this, palms facing each other, and start with awareness of your seat and then move it up as you breathe in. So here we go. Take a big, deep breath with me now. Here we go. Breathing in. Up behind your back. Now exhale, let it collapse into your upper back. And then feel the sensation of your entire arm simultaneously. Let's try that again. Feel your whole torso, inhaling with me now. behind you, and then exhale. Feel your whole arms, palms facing each other. Let's do that 2 more times. 1 more time. Feel your torso. Breathe in deeply. Keep your eyes open. Breathe in through your mouth just for fun. Here we go. Breathing in. Deeper breath. Up behind you. And now exhale, feeling your arms. Feel a flow like a river down your arms. Okay, last one. Then we're going to direct it to the solar plexus. Inhale again, feeling your whole body. Here we go. And now exhale, feeling your arms. Now that is really powerful. So this time you did a great job. And this time you're going to take your palms like this. You're going to make them into points like this, your fingertips. And you're going to put those right on your solar plexus, which is right where your rib cage comes together. You can feel a little bump there. Feel for it for a second until you find it. Take your whole hands, put it on there like that. And now try this again. And this time, when you exhale, allow that sensation to flow around the corner of your elbow right to your solar plexus. Here we go. Breathing in now. And then exhale. Great job. Okay, you want to really amp it up? Try a fire breath with me. Fire breathing is rapid inhaling and exhaling. Let's try it. Here we go. Now feel your body and inhale. Now feel your arms and exhale. Inhale again, feeling your torso slowly. Up behind you, your hands are like this, back on your solar plexus. And really send. Great job. Now do another fire breath with me. Here we go. Inhale and down. Let's try that again with the sound on. Here we go. Feel your body up behind you to your solar plexus. So now try this. Imagine your solar plexus is a sphere of energy like the sun, and it's floating out between your hands right here. You can say, my solar plexus energy center, and point to it. Or you could say, my third energy center, and point to it. Okay, let's try it. Here we go. Inhale, feeling your whole body. Exhale, feeling your arms, sending beams of energy to your solar plexus. One more time. Here we go. And down. Great job. Now hold a slight smile on this next one. Inhale. And down. Great work, everyone. So you may start to feel a little tingling and pulsing there. And you can keep doing this little practice while I teach you the next phase. So now let's blend this with sky interstellar energy. Become aware of the top of your crown for a second. Right up here. You can tap it twice and say, my crown. Now breathe in through your nose for a second, floating your awareness up, up, up into your brain, all the way up to your crown. And then exhale, aware of your crown. It's as if your crown is breathing. Inhale through your nose again, floating your awareness up to the top of your head. Really, really good. Up a little higher, a little higher. And then exhale, imagine your crown is yawning open. And now put your awareness up thousands of feet above you. And imagine you have a small golden thread connected to the sky. And allow that connection to bring in energy from the sky, interstellar energy from outer space, from between the star systems, from between the solar system and all the planets and all above the sky as well. And feel that interstellar energy start to flow down that golden thread. Now let go of the golden thread as your crown opens and you begin to feel that energy floating down and stimulating your third eye. Right there, your third eye is right behind the forehead. So now imagine that third eye begins to yawn. Place your awareness 1 inch behind your forehead, eyes open. Breathe in through your nose and become aware of your third eye at the same time. And allow that energy from the sky to keep floating down your crown. You can start to feel it floating down past your crown, past your third eye, and now floating straight down your central channel, right to your throat, your 5th energy center. You can feel that begin to yawn. Your ability to talk to speak your truth, to make cohesive arguments for things you want in life. That yawning sensation in your throat chakra begins to open even more. And now that sky energy comes down all the way to the solar plexus, right there. That feeling now, we're going to merge from the solar plexus on down to the solar plexus and up from the bottom at the same time. So this time I want you to breathe in again, blending the chi we did. Inhale, feel the sensation of your lower extremities. This time bring in your upper legs, your thighs. Bring in your root. Breathe in deeply. And as you breathe in deeply, move that sensation up to your second energy center, right below the navel, and all the way up to your solar plexus. And you can feel this meeting point down from the sky, up from below, and it's meeting right at your solar plexus. Now picture your solar plexus right in front of you. Give it a little spin with your hands. And then visualize that energy connection between your solar plexus, right where your breastbone is, right where your rib cage comes together, and your third eye, realizing that your intuition is actually a combination of both. You've got your spiritual sky connection of intuition, and then you have the intuition of your solar plexus, the gut feel. And that's the one where you can take action. And when you blend the two together, you've got this amazing ability to do intuitively guided action and take that action in life. So that's your process. You can watch that again and do it again. You just bring these two energies together and mix them and blend them right at the solar plexus. And if you think about your third eye now, you might notice a little pressure or a yawning sensation. Take a second. Look around the room. You can see it's slightly brighter. That's your third eye waking up. That's our process, Stephen.
That's great. Well, I can see how bringing all these different energy systems together is so helpful because they're like building blocks that you can kind of combine in some powerful ways, like getting more intuitively guided action. That's super helpful to have a practice, especially for that.
Yeah, it's great. And I've been using intuitively guided action in my life a lot over the last 5-6 years. And my entire life has changed just by tapping into that intuition before I make a decision. So I'm still bringing in logic. I logically think about decisions as well, but then I'll add in that intuitive element. And it ends up being the tiebreaker a lot of times, where there's two things that seem kind of logically equivalent. And then you connect to that infinite energy, that intuitive energy, and you go, oh, this is the one. And then yeah.
So we kind of jumped right into the practice and it was super helpful. And maybe it'd be good to give a little bit more of an overview of the different energy centers and how you're sort of bringing them together and building blocks for different purposes.
Yeah. If you're new to the energy center system, so there's typically considered to be 7 energy centers in your body. You got the root, right, which is right at your perineal floor. This is your safety, your security, but also your center for wealth, your stability. It's the foundation of everything. On top of that, right above that is your creativity, which makes perfect sense because once you're safe, you're free to be creative. That's also the center involved with any new energy you're bringing into the world. This could be children. It could be a new business. It could be a new private practice. It could be a next level in your energy practice. Anything you're birthing or bringing into the world or creating is a second energy center thing. And then your third energy center, the one we just worked with a whole bunch, that's your solar plexus. And that right there, that's also, do you have a certain kind of respect in your community? Are you viewed as a tribal elder, as someone who's done the work and risen above and just become a real leader? And that's where you have your leadership and also your energetic leadership, which is what you all just invoked in yourselves today. And then above that, your fourth energy center, that's your heart center. And that's just where you receive and also give love to everyone and everything, including the planet, including everyone on Earth. That's where your connection to humanity and to animals and plants and everything comes from. That heart center, so powerful. And the fifth center, that's your throat, right? This is your communication in all forms, including your body language, the actions you take, how those communicate what you do, and your freedom, your ability to speak your truth. And that's incredibly powerfully linked to the third center, by the way. If you can feel free to take the action you want in life and speak your truth, those two are intimately connected. And then above the fifth is the sixth, and this is the one that's the most well known, right? It's your third eye, it's your intuition center, and it's very intimately connected with the seventh, which is your connection to the universe and to all that is. So there are, of course, other systems of energy centers and even energy centers above and below the body, but inside the body, those are the primary ones that we work with, and those are what we stimulated today. We stimulated 1, 3, 5, 6. We did kind of hopscotch. And we did them together because that was the energy we were looking for. We were looking for a concept of grounded personal power, the ability to make change in your life, the ability to make intuitively guided decisions, and the ability to speak your truth. So, yeah, that was how that process was designed. It was a very special blend of those energy centers.
That's great. I also think it'd be great just to understand a little bit about how you can connect with clients and loved ones at a distance, since so much energy work now is happening at a distance.
It really is. And it's, it was not that long ago that, every single course I taught was pretty much in person, and I would have one or two people online attending my courses. And after a bit, people started attending remotely, and they would work on each other in the practice sessions, and people were getting phenomenal results. So remote work isn't new. I mean, it's been around since as long as I can remember, and it used to just be over the telephone, right? And so people would just call each other up. You'd think of someone else. You'd do your energy work. You would either imagine you were in the room with them, or you would imagine that you were sending the energy sort of through space-time, kind of through quantum entanglement to them, and they would feel the results. And I can tell you though, when I first received remote work, I didn't think it was going to work. I was very skeptical. And this was 16 years ago, and I was looking to get, energy work myself. And the first person told me they're going to work on me remotely. I was like, yeah, I don't see how that's going to work. And then, and then they worked on me, and I could feel where this guy was working on me. I could feel him working on my knee. My knee was getting better. I could feel him working on my foot. That was getting better. And I was like, oh, well, apparently this works. And I remember this was like, literally my first foray into energy work. About the first 100 remote sessions I did, everyone started like this. Here goes nothing. If it doesn't work, I'll give him a refund, and I just thought every time I thought it wasn't going to work. And then every time it worked. And so after about 100, I'm like, all right, it's going to work. And now it's all I do. I see maybe a handful of people in person each year, and everyone else I do my practice with, they're remote. And, we're talking about bones aligning, so on and so forth. And you can do that over video like you and I are, that's a great way to connect, but you can also do it over the phone. A voice print is one of the most powerful things. You can do it with a picture of someone. But if I was given the choice between a picture and a voice print, I'll pick a voice print every day. Like I'll tell someone, have your mom record me like 2 sentences and send me that and just say, hi, Tyler, how you doing? I'm grateful for the session I'm going to receive, something like that. If I hear someone's voice, boy, that really connects you to that person anywhere in the world. Now, we don't have 100% proof, but we think it has to do with quantum entanglement. And there's been some new people, Nobel Prize winning people actually, who've been moving the realm of quantum to the human level. So it's no longer just at the molecular, submolecular level, the atomic level. They're now starting to make these scientific leaps up to the macro as well, to our size. So I think one day the science will catch up completely, but there's so many different ways to do remote work. And in my experience, it works.
That's very reassuring. It's great you started as such a skeptic.
Such a skeptic.
To go to the next level, I wonder if you want to reflect on the timeline work and how that actually is even a different kind of bridging of realities and actually works.
The timeline work, that one I've been doing for a long time, but there have been some real breakthroughs just in the last year. So I remember in the early days, I would work on people, and they would tell me a different story after the session. They would finish the session, and at the time I was seeing people in person, they'd get off the massage table, and they would have told me some kind of pretty dramatic story about something that had happened to them, right? And then after the session, they're telling me a story about something that happened to them, but they're describing it in much more mellow terms. And so for a long time, I just kept justifying like, oh, they're feeling better, so they're remembering it differently. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen. People do remember things differently once they're feeling better and their pain is gone and so on and so forth. But I started to realize that there was something more to it, that we were working through time because they would have told me a story. Energy follows thought. The energy was following the timeline. And I was thinking, is it possible that this person not only got some energy work here and now, but also had a lateral shift to a different reality where their original thing just wasn't quite as bad? Now, of course, they're not going to remember that because they're now in the reality where it wasn't as bad. They don't remember the old reality afterwards. But I started tracking this, and I found that it was a fundamental part of how to be the maximum amount successful in your energy work. You want to add that in every time because it's the overlay that can often make the biggest difference. And sometimes it's the only way to make a major breakthrough is to work interdimensionally through time. So I've developed some techniques to intentionally connect to parallel timelines and try and pull that specific one to you, but also techniques that make timeline work in general more effective. And one of the main discoveries is I believe I've discovered kind of a sine wave length for time. And so if you work at specific intervals, I'm giving too much away. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. My most powerful sessions have involved that aspect. And so, yeah, I now consider it to be not something that you do optionally some of the time, but something that you should do most sessions, most of the time, is you should bring in at least an element of time and interdimensional connection. Yeah.
Well, it's so obvious in talking to you just how much mastery you've developed in all these fields and integrating all these different approaches together in a way that really creates building blocks for real transformation and really remarkable, Tyler. So let's talk about your upcoming training because it is truly a unique offering. It is a powerful deep dive into multidimensional energy healing, drawing from these many modalities, synthesizing them, applying them in your own life so that you can operate at the highest level, and then also giving you real skills to work with other clients as well. So, Tyler, I'd love for you to share about this upcoming training in your own words. So it's called Multidimensional Energy Healing, 6 core approaches to attain higher levels of healing. It's at the URL energymasterycourse.com, energymasterycourse.com. And yeah, I'd love to hear about what you intend for folks to come away from this powerful training with.
This training is basically training in exactly how I work. Because I teach a lot of different courses, and each one is usually focused on one thing. It's like, here's the quantum bow, or here's the bliss shift that we just did with you, or here's another modality. And this one, it's one place to not only learn all of them, and I mean from scratch, learn all of them from scratch, but also techniques for how to blend them. Because when I'm in the context of we're learning one course, I can't assume that everybody else in the course knows another modality and teach how to blend it. But in this one, everybody is going to have had each different modality. So then I'm completely free to teach you guys exactly how I work in my private practice and get the results that I get. So when you move from one modality to another with me, you're going to have that background. And there's another element too. When you learn one modality, certain modalities make it easier to learn another one. When you've learned the quantum bow, it makes it easier to get into the blissful shifted state that we do with yin energy work. And if you just start yin energy work cold, it's a little harder. You can get there, but it's harder. So this is designed to stack modality by modality in the logical way that you would learn it. And we just go straight through for 5 months of personalized training where people have a lot of access to me. They have the Facebook group, they have the group that's proprietary to Shift, they have other ways to contact me, and they can ask questions during the course. And then we have practice sessions at the end. So it's really comprehensive. And the goal is by the end of those 20 weeks, you are trained in every way that I work that I can possibly teach during those 20 weeks. I'm not holding anything back. There's no gatekeeping whatsoever. This is it. This is everything I know about energy work in 20 weeks. And not that I couldn't teach you even more stuff after that, but that is the foundation for all the modalities that I teach, the ones that I've invented, the yin work, the heart field, the chi, the specialized ways to move chi that I've developed over the years. It's everything. It's one-stop shop. And by the end, you're going to be incredibly powerful. And it's not just about healing work. I don't just use energy work to heal things. I use it in life. I use it for project plans. I use it for things I want to create, anything. If I want to create something, I'm doing energy work on it too. So it's a life-shifting thing, an emotional healing thing, a physical healing thing, a spiritual expansion thing. By the end, you're really present. You know how to get present. Work from that space.
Great stuff. Well, such sincere intentions and so much mastery go into this. So it's great to be able to distill out all your training into this 20 module journey. So we don't have time to go in super depth into each area, but let's at least hit the highlights. So unit 1 is all on 6 approaches to energy work and mastering chi with quantum bow healing and energy perception techniques, and begins with module 1, discover the 6 approaches to energy work, a quantum bow initiation.
Right. So we're going to learn the 6 approaches so you kind of know where you're going. It's like the overview of the course. You're going to have like a roadmap in front of you. And then we're going to start learning the quantum bow. We did a tiny bit of that today, but I'm going to be able to kind of watch the crowd as a whole and just know where the energy is flowing, where it's not, and give people some feedback on that as a group. And right there, you've got this ability to accumulate so much life force energy that you're just flowing really powerful amounts of chi right away. You can get results after module 1 immediately. Yeah.
Module 2, advanced quantum bow techniques to amplify, ground, and safeguard your energy to create a sustainable healing current for others.
Super important. A lot of modalities leave this out. They don't leave how to protect the practitioner. They're not covering that. Or if they do cover it, they cover it in ways that could just be a lot more effective. So these are some tried, true, and tested ways to keep the absolute energetic sovereignty of your field, the absolute centered strength of your field as you work on others, so that you stay completely safe and protected while you work. And that's what module 2 is all about. It's super, super important. And I'm so glad to be offering that specifically. It's a core thing that I teach in every single course. And it cannot be something that you leave off. You have to do this. You have to learn how to get that centered strength and keep your energetic sovereignty. Yeah.
Module 3, activate multi-source power with sky interdimensional energy, quantum bow, and the energy centers.
So we're going to learn how to do sky energy right off the bat, right? I'm going to train you on how to bring that in. You can do that as its own modality. And I'm going to show you how to blend the two. So you can actually bring in a burst of sky energy at the end of your breath and just blend the two. It's super, super powerful. People love it. It also amps up your sky energy. If you're already doing interstellar sky energy, you have that as part of your practice, you're going to love this because you're going to find that it's widening your meridian system and it's making your existing flow stronger and more consistent. It's kind of like an up level that just jumps you 5 years forward in terms of the effectiveness of your interstellar sky energy. And you're bringing in the chi with it at the same time. It's another way to work.
Then module 4, techniques for distance healing mastery and stabilizing the connection.
Yeah. Here's where we cover in the nitty-gritty details how you do remote work, every kind of way of doing remote work. You can do multiple approaches in a single session. I have an entire list of ways to connect. And some of them are really effective, especially when you want to work on little small things within someone, larger body structures. So it's very thorough. It includes every single aspect of how to connect with someone remotely and do really effective remote energy work. And these days, as you mentioned, Stephen, that's the bread and butter of what we're doing these days. Your client base, if you're a professional, is global. You're working on people in every continent, and it really makes it easy to build a private practice and to maintain one.
Unit 2, which is now modules 5 to 8, is called Self-Healing Mastery, the Power of the Heart Field, and it begins with module 5, create self-healing methods and routines and apply energy center combinations on yourself.
Yep. So we're going to learn the heart field really thoroughly, how to make a super, super powerful heart field. This is a specialized technique. It's something that we will work on. And once you get that strong, strong heart field, it's an incredibly powerful way to work on people in multiple areas simultaneously and to get changes where somehow they weren't happening in another way. It's another tool to really work through, physical issues with people, strong issues in their body, bones, joints, muscles, things like that. We're going to work with that first. Then I'm going to teach you self-healing, which in many ways, for many, many people, is the most important thing you're going to learn. Because I have been to a lot of courses myself where I learned how to do self-healing, and then I talked to my classmates 6 months later, and none of them are doing it. But part of it is a lack of self-confidence, right? They're like, I'm not sure. They don't know, but you're going to have confidence because I'm going to really, really train you in how to do it super effectively. It's going to get to the point 100% where you're as strong working on yourself as you are working on someone else. And when you add in that level of power, it's game changer, right? I myself, I do a lot of extreme sports. I do downhill mountain biking. I snowboard, I ski, I do stuff like that. If I ever have a fall, I'm immediately doing energy work on it, right? I usually stay upright, but just in case, I've got this right here in my back pocket. I can work on myself instantaneously. And anything that ever occurs to me, I work on myself immediately. You're going to get to that point where you auto work on yourself. You just immediately start to do energy work on yourself. If anything starts to go off your center, you're doing energy work on it automatically, and it's super effective. And we're going to go through all the different ways of doing that. And by the end of that, you're going to have that. By the end of that module, that whole 5-week thing, you're going to have tremendous confidence. And you know what? Even if you're not building a private practice or going into professional energy work, this right here very easily could be the takeaway that changes your life. Because once you have that power to heal yourself, it's a game changer. You're dependent on no one for most things. I mean, there's exceptions, right? But for most things, you're just dependent on yourself. It's a really free and wonderful, powerful place to be.
Module 6, create a powerful and coherent heart field that sends healing energy to multiple areas simultaneously.
Yeah, so here we're going to drill into the heart field even more. We're going to move that. We're going to learn to work that way. There's less breathing involved. It's a very effortless way to work. And you're just going to be blown away with the results of that using the heart field. It's an entire modality on its own, it's going to be one more super powerful tool in your tool belt.
Module 7, alchemize heavy emotions, soften stored grief, and use the heart field to enhance the body-brain connection.
Yep. So here we're going to start working using the heart field on ourselves for emotions. And we're also going to start to bring in the very, very beginnings of the next module as well, some of the precision feeling stuff. This is a way to really change and shift any stuck emotions in your body to get them out. You do want them out. You want those vibrational frequencies out if they're anything less than a super high, amazing, wonderful feeling. And we're going to get back that state of just feeling really, really good in that module itself. It's a really pleasant module, and it's a good one to strengthen your heart field as well.
And finally, module 8, use the heart field to heal the past and anchor updated patterns that stabilize the nervous system and instill calm.
Oh, I love this one. This one, we're working on the timeline. I developed some ways to think about like whole areas of your past, swaths of time in the past, from early childhood all the way up to the present moment and even into the future, and to use the heart field to work on those. So there's a different way that we sense during that session. We're going to sense areas in our past where we work back and forth, and otherwise ones that you know about in your past. And you'll find that after you work on them, typically they feel a little bit better. Even your memory of them is a little bit better. So we're using the power of the heart field to work on multiple things, to work on swaths of your past simultaneously. So rather than working on one event, you could work on 5 events or 100 events simultaneously. A whole grouping of experiences can be worked on simultaneously using the heart field. So it's a good blending of timeline work, which I've done before, and then the heart field to work on all these different points and how to identify those points. It's a very advanced, esoteric module with incredible results. People love it.
Really cool. Then we get into Unit 3, which is modules 9 through 12. Dissolve resistance and discharge dense energy patterns with Yin Energy Mastery and the Shifted State. And it begins with Module 9, cultivate a blissful present state that supports energy medicine accuracy and change.
So here we're starting to do some of the sensing work that will eventually lead to energy perception, where you can actually see energy fields and learn to do that the way I do. And we start by sensing densities, right? So you could sense densities in yourself. You could do precision energy work on that and precision feeling on that to kind of release and relax those areas. But you can also do that with your clients. And so we're starting to get more perceptive. We're starting to notice things in an energetic way. We're noticing people as energy fields, densities as part of the energy itself. And you start to become just more perceptive. That perception alone is healing. And we start to do all the kinds of breathing techniques that we love that allow us to get into this really blissful shifted state. We're stimulating the pineal gland. And what I love about this course is that during this module, I have the time to go really deep with it. This is where we go deep. This is where this whole module, all the different modules in there. I mean, this whole unit is just. I finally have the time to teach what I really want to teach in this module. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Then we go into module 10, authentic feeling technique deep dive.
Yep. So this is the feeling technique. This is one that you definitely want to come to. This is the life-changing emotional release technique that you bring back into your life immediately. You integrate it into how you do life every single day. And you make that a part of you. You make it a part of how you live. And when you do this precision feeling technique, you're back to the way you were when you were a child. You're playful, you're having fun, you're experiencing things right now. And you're not storing anything for processing some other time, right? No more of that. Something happens to you, whatever, you feel it authentically, but then right afterwards, you're back to the sense of joy, because at the core of us all, in Stephen and in everybody, is this beautiful shining light that is just made of pure joy. And all you need to do to access that is melt a few of those blankets that are on top of it using this technique, and you're just going to have these sunbeams of pure joy. This module, in many ways, right there next to the self-healing one, is one of the most life-changing modules in this entire course. So I want to see you there for this one. That's the one to rewatch. That's a way to really, really dig into your life and just make tremendous lasting change on an emotional level and how you feel every day.
Then we go into module 11, blending the shifted state with AFT to create elegant energy flows.
Yeah, AFT stands for authentic feeling. I also call it precision feeling. And when you do that, when you do both together, you become a super powerful energy worker. So this is its own modality. It's a way to do energy work on people. You could make this your only modality. And there are people that do, who gravitate to this yin work, to the shifted state. And so you're going to create a shifted state, stimulating the pineal gland, various areas in your brain. You're going to get to this open state. And then you're going to start noticing your client in a way that is healing to them very, very lightly, and then noticing your reaction to them. And just that noticing in and of itself, it makes you more perceptive, but there's an aspect of it that creates change in them. You start to change. You start to vibrate at a higher frequency, and you're noticing them creates a little energy bridge. And that energy bridge raises their vibrational frequency up as you're raising yours. You're the energetic leader, and they simply change. They entrain to your frequency. So this is a tremendously powerful way to work. It's one of my modalities I invented, and it's another tool in your tool belt for a really professional career.
And finally, module 12, quantum bow energy for manifestation, developing a plan and manifesting it with energy work.
We're just having fun on this module, Stephen. This is just the fun module. This is the one where we're like, all right, what do you want in life? You want $1 million? Fine. Like whatever it is, we're going to manifest it through every different direction. So we talked about multidimensional healing as a core part of this class. The whole theme of this course is multidimensional healing. Well, what about multidimensional manifestation? Let's not just manifest the traditional way, feeling the feelings of what you want and just feeling the joy of having it. That does work, but it is not as fast as if you amplify it with energy work. So you bring in the quantum bow, you have to charge up those feelings. That's a way to pull things in really quickly. Now you use the yin and the precision feeling to clear any roadblocks out of the way. So now you've got this powerful engine driving you forward where you can make intuitively guided decisions about what you want and then grab what you want through manifestation, but you're also clearing the roadblocks by using the yin work and using the precision feeling. So when you add those multiple different approaches to manifestation, it's really fun, it's really powerful, it's really effective. So this is one of those modules where we're kind of bringing in everything we've learned up to module 12 and using it to manifest things that we want in our life and concretize them so that they're here now, not just theoretically manifest, but bringing it in. So I love this one. This is super powerful.
Well, I know we don't have time to go through all the rest in detail, so let's just hit some highlights through Unit 4 is all about creating coherence of the nervous system, mind, and energy field, and greater presence through the shifted state and blended techniques. And that's 4 modules.
This one, I've got the time with you guys, and it's going to be an honor and a privilege to bring you through this, because here's where you really start to drop into a state of awakening. You're starting to become so aware of yourself in an easy, authentic, precise way that you just melt those blankets entirely. You start to get to that state of pure joy And then you're going to find that even your speech, even the words you say, drop you into a state of presence and drop other people into a state of presence. This is where you leapfrog people who've been meditating for 6 months or 10 years sometimes. And you're just, and your friends are like, how did you get so present? Well, I've been working on it for 5 weeks. So it's tremendous. I'm so grateful to have the time with you to do that work, to really, really drop in. This is where you add in the overlay of presence, which I talked about with you, Stephen, at the beginning of this seminar, is you add a presence overlay and it multiplies the power of every single thing you do. So this unit here is where you learn to get that present, which is then an amplifier to everything else, and where you realize that presence itself is extremely powerful. There's also some proprietary techniques in there for how to do healing work with presence that I've developed over the years, presence and curiosity and a few things that just make it really, really fast.
Great stuff. And then we go into Unit 5, go deeper into time energy to achieve lasting presence, timeline jumping, and the sixth dimension.
Yep. Here's where we're just, bending reality a bit. So, this is where we're doing dimensional shift, right? And this is what has to be part of every session. And especially if something's really, really something you need to work on with someone else or with yourself. If something's not shifting and you're doing multiple kinds of energy work, this is where you can finally get the change you're looking for, because now you're working in a way that isn't constrained by the reality that you're in right now. The only constraint is your own mind and willingness to let go of past patterns. And you can learn to do that. You can learn to embrace the new patterns, the new frequencies, the dimensional shift. And we have specific rock solid techniques to invoke those dimensional shifts. And that's, once you start doing that kind of work, you're just a next level energy worker. You're just, that's the top right there. Once you can do multidimensional energy work where you're shifting just into parallel realities, imperceptibly different at first, but incredibly powerful for you and your client, that's when you've really, really reached the absolute pinnacle of energy work. And you can apply that as an overlay, as its own approach, but also as an overlay to every kind of energy work that you do, the ones you already know, and the multiple modalities that you learn and master in this course.
What a truly amazing training this is. I mean, to distill all of the studies that you've done and practice with thousands of clients and students, and it's like you really are synthesizing the most important work we can know about for energy healing. Again, the whole program is laid out in detail at energymasterycourse.com. We've heard some about the 20 modules that constitute the full journey of the teaching. There's also time to ask your questions live. You'll get recordings of every session, both video and audio, which is super helpful when you want to really get these techniques hardwired in. You'll have word-for-word transcripts, their weekly practices for home. There's a really rich and robust community group to support you and deepen your experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. Tyler's also been generous with extra bonuses that we are including on the page there. There's a full video breathwork practice called 30 Minutes to Pure Presence. There's also an audio practice called 6 Steps to Feeling Lighter and More Alive, both described in more detail. And then we have a really robust, beautiful extra offering that's available for you if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. This is a video teaching called 10 Steps to Energetic Sovereignty. I've heard a lot about sovereignty in general in the kind of transformational circles. This is a really clear pathway to do that. Tyler, you want to share more about that special bonus folks get when they sign up today?
Yeah, that's the first time that have coalesced that teaching in energetic sovereignty right down to a video practice that you can use. So it's every single step in a row and it's guided. So if you wanted to, you could just hit play 30 minutes before your client was going to walk in the door, follow those steps one after another, and boom, you're in a state of absolute energetic sovereignty. And then following the techniques you've learned in the course as well, you'll be able to maintain that absolutely rock solid state throughout your session and just be absolutely safe and protected and in a fantastic, happy state for your session. So it's a really powerful offering. It's something I've never released before. I developed this specifically for this course. And, at some point, this is something I will definitely be selling on my website as a really powerful tool for professional energy workers to use. So I'm excited to just be offering that up for free, as for anyone who registers right away.
That's a great extra bonus. Well, it's clearly going to be an incredible journey of mastery and healing and illumination and creativity as well. So we've kept the investment, given the depth and breadth of this program, very reasonable. It's just 5 payments of $395, or you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $17.99. So the course is going to start December 11th and run Thursdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. But even if you can't make those live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. And really, it's the practices that are going to be so powerful for you for years to come. So if you go to the page, you'll again see great testimonials from working with Tyler. He's taught quite a number of programs with Shift, and he's always beloved. And so you're in really good hands, and you're getting to draw from a high level of mastery from many different traditions and really be able to synthesize this work in ways that benefit you, your family, your clients, and whoever you happen to engage. So again, it's all at energymasterycourse.com, energymasterycourse.com, and you get that special bonus when you sign up by midnight of 10 steps to energetic sovereignty. So Tyler, you packed a lot into this hour. Whoosh.
I know.
Anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the full 20-week journey with you?
I've been wanting to put together a program like this for years, and I'm really grateful to your staff for the impetus to do this. They felt like it was a great time to do it, and we put a ton of work into developing this and even beta testing this with some of my longtime clients. So this is a super powerful training. You could start as a beginner and actually attend this entire course as a beginner. And then at the end of the 5 months, you're an incredibly powerful energy worker. And the other bonuses you didn't discuss as well, I poured my heart into making those. Those are some really powerful practices as well. So it's worth it for the bonuses alone. And then you come in and you learn this stuff, and the community, the friendships you're going to build here, the other energy workers you'll meet. Like, this is a really powerful thing. And I can tell you, Stephen, I'm looking forward to teaching this course more than any course I've taught in a long time. I've been wanting to do this for years, and it's really the distillation of everything I've learned in consistent training, innovation, and development over 16 years of energy work. I'm so grateful to be able to offer it through Shift Network. And to anyone watching this right now, join my course. I would love to have you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Tyler. It's been a joy and honor to be with you here today and partner with you on this upcoming training. And again, it's called Multidimensional Energy Healing, 6 core approaches to attain higher levels of healing. The details are laid out at energymasterycourse.com. And it's going to start December 11th, and you get that special bonus when you sign up by midnight, which is the 10 steps to energetic sovereignty. So thank you so much, Tyler. Thank you all for joining. Many blessings.
Many blessings.